What is up, my beautiful people? It's your boy Jack, and today we're going to be talking Spelunky. Well, Spelunky 2. Around the end of 2017, Spelunky 2 was announced through some trailers and stuff, and that was pretty hype. And it was set to release in 2019, launching on Steam and PS4. But wait a second, it's 2020, and the game's still not out. Don't worry, it's not cancelled, the game's still in development and it's set to come out this year. And I think I have a pretty close guesstimation to when it's gonna come out, so we're gonna go ahead and look into that. Put on my smart boy glasses. Heck yeah. So flashback to 2019, it already became apparent that Spelunky 2 wasn't going to come out that year. Derek Yu, the creator of Spelunky, tweeted out, "Hey Spelunky fans, unfortunately I don't think we're going to get to the release date of Spelunky 2 this year. Development is still going well and we're not far off target, but the density and detail of the game is demanding more time. Thank you for your patience." And with that, he had a little screenshot of the game, which looks amazing. I'm so hyped for it. And that was back in August, so I want you to keep a note of something he said in that. He said we're not far off target. Now go forward a little bit, I believe to March, he made a little blog post about the current state of its development. And in this, he essentially said that they're working more on textures and stuff like that. I guess just giving everything more detail and polishing it up. And with that blog post, he posted some screenshots. So what I did is I got the screenshots here, and I went ahead and I grabbed some older screenshots of the game from when it was announced back in the 2017 trailers. So there's a 2-year difference between these new screenshots and these old screenshots. So I thought we'd go ahead and compare them and look at how many differences we can spot. So we have the new mines here, and honestly, I've looked at this a lot, and I myself can't really see much differences. Here's the new one, then we got some of the old ones here. We can see the bats exist in both of these, and they don't look too different. Also, the tiles also don't look very different. Look at the spiders though. Oh no, as if they weren't bad enough. Now they kind of camouflage in with the tiles, so that's going to be horrible in the mines. I feel like they might have possibly added more variety to the types of unique textures that can appear on the tiles, because if you look here, we have like the same texture of wood literally appearing twice here. But then we go to the new screenshot and it looks a little like there's more detail. But then again, there is some things that repeat here, so I don't know that for sure. Let's go to the lava area. Now here I was able to sort of find some differences. If you look at the old screenshot of it, it looks really plain, especially the tiles. Like, they're just super smooth. There are some cracks and stuff in some places, but a lot of it also repeats a lot, and there's not too much detail. But then you go to a newer screenshot, and look at that. There seems to be way more details in the cracks. Now it could just be me. Maybe it looks more detailed because there's a lot of lighting stuff going on because of the lava, but it looks like there's way more detail in the tiles, as well as the background. It seems like they upped that a little bit as well. Now it's kind of hard to see any differences here, quite simply just because this screenshot was taken in one of the dark levels. Ooh, our favorite. But there also might be a little more detail here with like the leafy tiles. Again, not too sure though, because this is in the darkness, so I can't really see that much. We do have a little weird skull thing up there. It's kind of spooky. And then here's a water type level. So I can definitely, well, can I, let me see. Oh yeah, okay. So there's definitely a really noticeable difference here. Now, if you look at the background for one of the old screenshots, look at how plain the background is. It's just like that little texture with like some giant sea stars and that coral thing. But then you look at the new screenshot of the game and look at how detailed the background is now. There's a lot more little details. There's like a giant coral thing there. It looks way more detailed. Now, it is also possible that this could just be like a different area of the water area where the background's a little different. Not sure, but from the looks of it, it seems like they revamped the background for this and it looks way more detailed. As for the tiles, I can't really see much of a difference. Maybe just more variety, but at the same time maybe not, because look at how much this repeats right here. Take all this with a grain of salt. I did look at this quite a bit, and those are really the only differences I myself can notice. But if you see any other differences, be sure to let me know and I'll look into it. So that does make it kind of strange, because he said one of the big things they're working on right now is upping the textures, and then he posted these screenshots and there's not too much of a difference. Maybe they're going to start working on the textures. I don't know, I'm not sure. Anyways though, fast forward even more, And Derek Yu posted on Twitter that he was going to be answering some questions about Spelunky 2 and his other games. And in that tweet, he also subtweeted it and added in some other things to add on to the detail of Spelunky 2's development. Strachey and I are on both projects, and at some point we knew we'd have to focus on one to finish it off before going back to the other. Well, that time has come, and we're going all in on Spelunky 2 to release it this year. We'll holler when we know exactly when. So this is good news because they're holding off the development of their other games, and they're putting all their focus on Spelunky 2 now. So good news there. But hashtag UFO50 is still very active. We'll try to get a date this year, but the plan is to release post Spelunky. So right there, just further emphasizing that their focus is fully on Spelunky now. So yeah, the games are in good shape, aside from taking longer than originally planned, and everyone working on them seems to be doing alright, which is fortunate. So that's good to know. All their focus right now is on Spelunky 2. And despite our current world's condition with quarantine and all that, they're obviously still working on the game, so it's nice to see that. So we have a few details here to work with. First of all, whenever they delayed the release date, he said that they're not far off. Now, the release date was set for sometime in 2019, so if they're not far off target, then that kind of suggests that it's going to be released around early 2020, because if it's late 2020, then that's kind of far off target. And then we also have the fact that they're fully focusing on Spelunky 2 now, so they don't have like a divided focus anymore. They're just fully concentrating on Spelunky 2, they're gonna knock it out, and then they'll get back to their other game. So far the vibe I'm getting is around the first half of 2020. Now, something else I tried to look into was the release dates. So if we look back all the way to the beginning of the original Spelunky, we can see that was released around 2008, and then about 4 years later, it had an HD remake for Xbox. So that was released in 2012, but obviously he didn't spend all 4 of those years developing it. At some point, he was approached by someone from Microsoft who kind of suggested that he ported over to Xbox, which I'm glad he did. And instead of just porting over their original classic one, they went ahead and made an HD remake. So I'm sure it took a little time for the game to like pick up traction and actually get the attention of this guy from Microsoft. So I'm gonna take a lucky guess here and say they maybe spent between 2 to 3 years working on Spelunky HD. I don't know for sure though. I don't know if there's any confirmed statement from him where he says how long it took, but I think between 2 to 3 years is a safe guess. And then in the next coming years, it got ported over to PlayStation consoles. So we have that sort of guesstimation in mind. Let's say it took around 2 to 3 years to develop Spelunky HD. Now, let's also keep in mind that Spelunky 2's announcement trailer was released in 2017. Well, late 2017. So almost about 3 years ago. And whenever we saw that trailer, the game looked pretty much complete. And here we are 3 years later. So we have the time that they spent developing the game up to the point of the trailer, the original one in 2017, and then here about 3 years later, actually it's more of like 2.5 years, but yeah, we can assume that Spelunky 2 has been in development for maybe at least 4 years. 4 or 5 years, something like that. So already, I believe Spelunky 2 is taking way longer to develop than the original Spelunky HD. Now, it does make sense. I believe they're working with a new engine. They have a whole bunch of new things they're adding, like water physics and stuff, and it just makes sense that it's going to take longer to develop. They're putting way more work into it. All the people working on this game have really developed their skill sets ever since the development of Spelunky HD. So it does make sense that it's taking a little longer, because the game is definitely going to be a lot better. At least I'm really hoping it's going to be. But like with this time frame in mind, with the quote that it's not far off target, with the screenshots, just everything kind of points to Spelunky just being right there, like right at the tip of our tongue of being released. Personally, I think the release date that makes the most sense is sometime in the summer. Hopefully early summer, but at the very least, hopefully we'll get a confirmed release date this summer, maybe like in June or something. That'd be awesome. Then again though, it's just me kind of making guesses off of the information we currently have. None of this is confirmed or official besides, you know, the primary sources I've showed off. But let me know what you guys think. I think this date makes sense sometime in the summer, and the summer's not too far away. I'm really hoping it doesn't get pushed back even further and we have to wait till the winter. That'd suck. I mean, it would just mean we get a better game, because we don't want them rushing it out, because no games that are rushed turn out that good. Or at least not as good as they could have been if they weren't rushed. So again, let me know what you guys think. If I get any more information on Spelunky 2, I'll be sure to make a video and cover it and analyze it. And I swear when Spelunky 2 comes out, I'm gonna be making hella videos on it. So if you're down for Spelunky and Spelunky 2 related stuff, be sure to stick around. And yeah, so it's been your boy Jack, and I'll have to catch y'all later. Peace.